Hey everybody, it's William. We're at Silverstone this time, not Spa, Silverstone. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. Going to be putting together a race setup. That's what I used to do in the past instead of focusing on a hot lap. Actually making something suited for a race that you guys can just jump in and not worry about, maybe falling apart 5 minutes into the run or something. So I'm going to be focusing with a fuel load for about a 20-minute race and get going from there. We're driving the Audi R8, the EVO version of it. And like I said, again, we're at Silverstone, doing this in a free practice session instead of the hot lap session. So lap times may not be as good. Also running with race fuel and that kind of thing. We're still going to have the hot lap after this, and then a talk through of the setup after that. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, and I will see you to talk over the setup. Okay everybody, that was a hot lap around Silverstone in the Audi R8 GT3. This is on our race setup. As discussed before, we managed a 158 flat. You can go ahead and look, we only ran 7 laps here. Outlap doesn't really count for much. Getting up to speed, you can see fastest sector for the final sector there. It does start to lose drive off of the slower speed corners. That is the one thing I am unhappy with this setup, but seems like it's a pretty difficult one to get on top of anyways. But yeah, our fastest lap, let's see, our second flyer, a 58 flat, definitely could have been replicated. Getting used to this track and how to drive it in ACC, and also a 58 flat, while I'm pretty happy with that, I definitely think the setup could go faster. I think I am the limiting factor here, but hopefully someone out there is faster than me and can put that to the test. So let's go ahead and look at the setup. Let's see, our tire pressures. So we were aiming for the hottest, or the highest pressure we got around the lap to be 28 in the front. It generally hangs out around 27.5. Feels pretty good and grippy. And then on the rears, we were aiming for 27, just to kind of give a squishier rear tire and help with the drive out of the corners. That is the thing that I think is really holding this car back. Whether that's the car, the setup, or my driving style, I couldn't quite fix it. So hopefully it's me. That's what I would like to assume anyways. And you can see also we're wearing the left sides more than the right, that is to be expected, but even wear front to rear is what I was looking for as well. So you're not burning off like your left front or your right or your left rear more than the other. So it stays really balanced. It just gives up out of the slow speed corners as you run along. Electronics vary for you and your track conditions, but 2 on the traction control, 2 on the ABS, and ECU map on 1. We are running with 38 liters in the car. That should be enough for about a 20-minute race, somewhere around there. Weight in the car, I mean, obviously it's slowing you down a little bit, but it feels really balanced as it wears off as well. So, or as it burns off, I should say. Onto the suspension, a soft front anti-roll bar, helping the car actually kind of grip up in those slower speed corners. It's still plenty stiff through the high speeds. We have the suspension actually set up pretty stiff as well, so you want to keep those anti-roll bars a little bit softer when you've got the wheel rates so high like this. The bump stop range, I think this is just what it came on as the aggressive setup. Didn't really see a reason to change it any, just increase the rate a little bit. We're probably not even getting into the bump stops anyways though. Preload differential, this is a lot higher, a lot higher. Probably one of the reasons it's struggling for traction out of the corners so much, but really giving good stability into the high speed corners. Onto the dampers, so we got them pretty soft on the front and actually pretty soft on the rear. The big thing around this track was I did not realize exactly how bumpy this track is, especially in the S's. In that area, it's like riding a bucking bronco basically through there. It does bottom out just a little bit, but this is just to try and keep you from getting seasick whenever you get thrown through all those bumps there. It feels really balanced though. It is very pointy on the front end, so you can't be too aggressive with the steering inputs. But just kind of point the car where you want it to go, and it generally turns in and responds really well. So it can snap if you overdo it. You do not need to overdo it though. If you just kind of suggest the car turns into that corner, you don't fling it. You just turn it in like you're making a right-hand turn in your road car or something like that. It'll go ahead and track through there. There's a little bit of understeer in some of the higher speed corners. Not the S's though. I can't remember. I guess it would be whatever turn 1 is if we were doing the actual Grand Prix layout with their start-finish line. But I would rather have understeer there and have it nimble everywhere else than make it good through that corner and have it massively oversteering everywhere else. So it's a bit of a trade-off. And yeah, here you can see the ride heights raise the front a little bit and the rear sitting at 70. You can go ahead and increase this up to 75, I believe is the highest I've gone. It just creates a little bit more rotation, so if you don't like that understeer, give that a shot. Go ahead and move that up to 75, and it should help with the rotation a little bit more. I don't think it's worth taking the wing off. This track seems to like a lot of downforce, so just play with the rake if you want the balance. Move it higher, you'll get a little bit more rotation. Move it lower and you'll make the car understeer a little bit more. That is the theory anyways. And like I said, front 262 just to help over the bumps, and occasionally if you smack one of those curbs. The actual turn 1 on this circuit, I hit that curb numerous times, and or I guess it's that sausage curb on the inside, and been thrown for a wild ride doing that. So just raising it to help out with that kind of stuff. And then brake ducts, you probably have to change this if the temperatures are that different, but 3 and 2 rear brakes cool off quite a bit, trying to control the temperature in the rear tires as much as possible to keep them from overheating. You could probably increase it in all honesty, but I don't think it's going to have that big of an effect. The left rear tire is getting used quite a bit at this track, and that is why we were struggling. So anyways guys, that is the race setup. Like I said, getting to know this track a little bit better. Hopefully the setups get better from here on out. Any feedback or anything like that you want to give me, let me know how you get on with it. If you manage to do a race, how well you do in the race, what kind of times, whatever. If you wreck because it's awful, you can let me know whatever you want in the comments below. And hopefully one way or the other we can incorporate something into try and make the next ones better, because that is the goal here. Always just a little bit better next time, whether it's a lap, setup, whatever it is. So hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for watching. I will catch you on the next one.